Is up, everyone? Welcome to Nickel City Mafia and welcome to Red, White, and Bills. We're streaming to both channels tonight after this huge win. Oh my goodness. We're going to get right into it. I'm going to throw it over to Jake. Jake was at the game. Tell us all about it, Jake.
Well, let me just tell you guys something. I am, my vocal cords are a little off right now. Man, I mean, Bills Mafia absolutely showed up tonight. It was the energy, and listen, we talked about it in our pregame show, just how there was like a buzz throughout the city and everything, and how people were excited about the game. My gosh, I mean, it was just like from the very start of the game right through the end, just the crowd noise, the energy. There was MVP chants for Josh Allen. I mean, it was unbelievable. I mean, what an experience. That was so awesome. I'm so grateful I got to go to this game. It was just a beautiful thing. It really was. And man, how can you not feel good after a game like that? I mean, it was a little interesting at first. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, when it was 7-7, a little sloppy on defense, let them kind of have their way with us a little bit. But right after that, we really tightened it up, and I mean, just unbelievable performances by several players. So I am so pumped up, guys. And on that note, cheers to you guys. I'm opening another one. Why not? Victory beer.
Yes. Sean, I'll throw it to you, man. I mean, talk to me. You and I were just chatting back and forth the whole game, but talk to me, man.
Well, for sure there was plenty of good stuff, and then there was a few things we're going to talk about, especially with the film study we got this week coming up. We'll be able to dissect stuff, and I'm going to take the offensive line this week. I'm just going to go out and say I'll take them. So
awesome.
They played pretty well, but there was a lot of plays where they just got absolutely destroyed. Like in particular, Dawkins got blown up at least once, Saffold got blown up at least once, and Brown got blown up at least once, and that's just 3 plays out of all the plays. But overall, they played pretty solid. But there's always going to be things to talk about, negative and positive. But the way it started, I was telling Mike, like, oh, man, we're not going to win playing like this. Just letting wide open guys, break the easy parts, the soft spots of the zone. It was just, oh, man, another back and forth with Derrick Henry going on. They missed the false start on the Henry touchdown, and I was like, here we go. And then the defense buckled down, and they said something interesting. The first drive, they got 60 yards, and before the Matt Milano pick 6, they only had like 65 yards after that. So the defense really clamped down, and the defensive line showed out, and they didn't get 4 sacks like I predicted, but everybody was true to their assignment. They contained well. They weren't afraid to tackle Henry. They filled their gaps, and we said we missed out Oliver and Tim Settle, but we proved that we can let them rest when they need to. And then young guys and everyone else can show out, and they did. So we'll talk about more, but Mike, I'll let you take some too.
Oh, I mean, I'm just gonna let you two talk, and I'll chime in because you guys got so much excitement, and I do as well. But I'm gonna throw it. I got a couple questions for you. First, Jake, you're wearing a jersey, and talk to me about what happened. I mean, where did this guy come from? Did he look up and see you're wearing his jersey, and he's like, I'm gonna put on a show for Mr. Jake Podger today?
He looked right up into the stands, Mike. He pointed at me. He said, "This one's for you, Jake." And he knows how much I love fullbacks, right? So, I mean, how poetic. My first Bills game of the season, home opener. I wear his jersey on pregame. I'm always talking Reggie Gilliam up. Super excited. My first jersey that I bought this year didn't really end off on the right note, right? Then I get the Reggie Gilliam in like 2 days ago. And, of course, I wear it to the game. And first touchdown of the game, I mean, he made Josh look pretty good there. He took that for, he made a couple people miss, broke some tackles, looked really good with the ball. That's what a guy like that can do, just because, he came in the league as a tight end. And he kind of gives you that option as more of a versatile fullback. So I absolutely love to see it. I mean, I was pretty pumped. I couldn't believe it. I mean, the guy behind me was laughing. He's like, holy crap, like, you wore this jersey. He scores the first touchdown. It's absolutely wild. And I guess there was someone who threw $50 on Reggie Gilliam being the first touchdown scorer. 100-to-1 odds won $5,000 just because of that touchdown alone. So, I mean, that was amazing. So right off the get-go, I mean, we're cooking with gas. I'm feeling really good about things, and I'm like, man, this might be a game of no names. You had Jake Kumaro starting at receiver, in place of Gabe Davis. And then you have, a couple other guys out there. Brandon Bryant called up from the practice squad. He seemed like he did a pretty good job today. I thought he played pretty well. And how about Matt Milano being the second leading receiver for the Titans today? That was pretty fun. Huh? Yeah, just across the board. I mean, Josh Allen looked amazing. Some of the throws he made were just, that last touchdown pass to Stephon Diggs was an absolute laser. And how about Stephon Diggs being able to hold on to it and score 3 touchdowns today? I mean, he was incredible. So, yeah, the run game was not what we thought it would be, Mike. I lost $5. I bet it on Devin Singletary. I was hoping, 100 yards and a touchdown, but definitely didn't happen. Looked good at first. Those first couple of runs, I'm like, here we go. 18 yards in the first 3 carries. We're looking great. But, it didn't really turn out that way. James Cook actually got me some more yardage and helped me with the bet a little bit there. So we should have a James Cook tracker on our channel.
We will. I'll start having it. I'll start using the ticker feature and have that updated.
There we go.
There.
Total yards.
But I do want to say, I know I gave you some bad information there, but Troy is out there in Las Vegas tonight, and he asked me, who should I take? I said, take the Bills on the over, and of course, take the Bills and the points. And I even told him take the Eagles, and he won some money. So he's having fun out there in Vegas. He said there were some Bills fans there. I think he was in the Bally's sports area there, and awesome Bills Mafia travel all over. Sean, I want to throw it to you about somebody that I think you might owe an apology to, Mr. Jake Kumaro. Talk to me.
Yeah,
wow.
I messaged Mike. I said I got to eat some crow on the show tonight because he looked like a pretty good receiver out there. I know it was 2 catches for 50 yards, but he made the 2 plays he made were great plays. And, it's still been nice to have Hodgins out there, but I got to admit when I'm wrong, and he went out and showed some good stuff out there today. So props to Jake Kumaro. I know he's probably listening and waiting for me to my bowl of crow here, but I was pumped up, and the first thing I said was after I was jumping for joy for him, I was like, man, I bet Jake's laughing in the stands right now. Like, I told Sean.
Yeah, it was definitely good to see. I didn't expect it. I honestly thought Khalil Shakir would actually be playing outside because he was technically listed as the right outside receiver. Kind of forgot about Jake Kumaro, talking about him in our show. Didn't even really think it was like a possibility, but he did play 23% of the snaps last week. So for him to come out and handle it, pretty much all of them, offensively today was pretty awesome. We ran a lot of heavy packages too. How about that, Sean?
Oh, I love it. Yeah. It looks good. And I think Louis Riddick said it today, and I agree. And I wasn't worried about it either, but he said there's 0 drop off from Dable to Ken Dorsey, and that's where people were like, oh, well, we can't count that out. The Bills offense might be different without him, but this guy's a genius himself. So the splits he has with his receivers, the different formations he runs, he never does the same thing. He's always keeping the defenses honest, and I just love watching this guy do his magic. There was a couple plays. The one that me and Mike, you mentioned, the 4th and 1 play was a bad play call. The Shakir missed his assignment blocking Kevin Byard too, so it might have been an okay play, but it just got blown up easily. And again, that was Shakir's first game. He didn't look good to me at all. He had the one catch opportunity, he dropped it, and then he missed that blocking assignment on a 4th and 1. And then again, I can't imagine being a rookie. Your first game time is at home against the Titans when Bills Mafia is going crazy. You feel all this adrenaline and all these angst in you, like, oh man, I gotta go out and show out. And then I can't imagine what that feels like when your first play in NFL is out there. Props to Quentin Morris getting his first NFL catch.
Yeah, I love it.
Wow, nice.
That was awesome. He took a lot of hard hits, but he held onto the ball and he looked good.
That was another guy I meant to mention. Yeah, it was like a game of sort of the unexpecteds, the unheard ofs, right? You have Reggie Gilliam scoring the first touchdown, Quentin Morris playing quite a bit, Jake Kumaro 2 catches, 50 yards. It was really nice to see. That's just credit to our depth right there. And man, I thought our rookie corners, both of them, played extremely well today too. So that was definitely encouraging. I know they have a big task at hand next week against Miami and Troy. We're gonna have our hands full. There's no doubt about it. But I'm wishing the best too for Dane Jackson. I saw that live, obviously, and it was not pretty. You guys saw it on the telecast, and they showed replays of it. They only showed one because I think they knew it was kind of a more severe thing. But I guess he has full movement. He actually already texted Jordan Poyer. I was listening to Jordan Poyer talk a little bit post game, and he said he's doing okay. He has movement in his extremities and all that. It was more precautionary, which is good. Thank God. That's something you never want to see is when an ambulance comes out and loads him up onto the board and all that. And
Yeah, prayers definitely out with him, with Dane tonight. I mean, it was scary. Sean and I were talking about it, and man, thank God, full movement, and hopefully, we get. I mean, prayers come through, and he's back with us in a few weeks. But most importantly, that he has full movement. That's the most important thing. So I do want to say. I mean, we're going to go around. Let's go around the offense real quick, and then we'll talk defense. But did it not feel like Stephon Diggs went into a high school game against some kids and said, "Hey guys, try to guard me and let's see what I can do." And he just put a licking. We talked about this in our pregame. We said, "Hey, we should be able to take advantage of these younger guys with our veterans." Should I say veteran, right? We only needed one of the veterans to come through. He says, "No, Gabe Davis. I'm going to drop 12 for 148 and 3 touchdowns on you guys."
In three quarters, Mike.
Are you freaking kidding me? It was just magical. Him and Josh were on the same page. It was incredible. I mean, again, we said they could take advantage. They did just that. And Diggs was like, even on the 4th down play, we were like 4th and 1. We ended up punting. Diggs is like, and they were even talking about it. They're like, "Seriously, I'm 1-on-1 with McCreary. We're gonna punt? No, come on." By the way, a punter sighting there was a punter sighting in Buffalo. I feel like he's putting some Vaseline on the ball.
Secret weapon.
His first 2 punts, and they muff it. I mean, come on now, crazy stuff. But anyhow, let me throw it to you. Sean, let's just go through. Talk to me about Josh. We'll go through the quarterbacks and the running backs and the receivers, but we'll just be quickly with them, and then we'll get into the defense because they really shined as well. So, talk to me about Josh Allen. What you saw tonight?
Yeah, Josh did another amazing performance, and Shannon Sharp said something about Mahomes the other day. Just to throw it out there, they asked him if his performance was an MVP performance, and he said yes. Because it's not always about throwing 5 touchdown passes and 400 passing yards, about getting the job done. So in the beginning of the game,
difficulties, I think,
with what? You or me,
I'm having some technical difficulties from Sean.
I can hear him fine. I hear you fine, Sean.
Oh, you hear me good?
Yep.
Are you good, Jake?
I think Jake's having the technical difficulties. Go ahead and talk there, Sean.
Jake froze. But in the beginning, the offensive line wasn't given a lot of great protection, and he was taking what the defense was giving him, doing what he was supposed to do, and he wasn't trying to take the deep shot, the kill shot, and it was great to see. They mentioned it in the broadcast how his eyes were just tricking the defenders, drawing him this way to open up the left side of the field and throw a wide open pass, and he's just a hell of a player. Every day he seems to get better, and it just seems impossible that he can get better, but there's still more in the tank.
Yeah, but, I mean, he was 26 to 38 for 317, and it felt weird. Like they were making everything be thrown underneath. Right, it was dink and dunk initially, going to halftime, and he's over 208 yards. I'm like, dang, it didn't feel like that, but
I know
he was just taking what they give him, which is fantastic for him. And then later on, he was able to expose them a little bit deeper.
The thing with the dink and dunking, why the other defenses like to do that is because it's more opportunities to force a turnover. So they're hoping, keep giving them underneath stuff. They might keep getting first downs and long drives, but somebody might tip a pass, and then we can go intercept it. And that's what a lot of defenses like to do. And, that's why I was saying it's about the execution. I don't mind the underneath stuff, but it's about making the right choice and then executing the play. But, I give him an A+ performance. I don't think anyone else would give anything less than an A, but he looked solid to me. A lot of great plays, and took advantage of a secondary that we knew that he could. And I say A+ for him.
How are you rating that offensive line in front of him today? Talk to me about that O-line.
I'm gonna give them a B-, just because I was a little bit let down with the run defense for the most part. There was a lot of plays that just got shut down the first second of the play, and I was like expecting more from Saffold today. And I'm not just picking on him, but because overall as a unit they play pretty good. That's why I'm giving them a B-. But there was a lot of plays where you were just like, wow, this is not good. But then they go on the next play and they were amazing. So that's why I give them a B- because they were a little bit inconsistent. But Dawkins was probably the best one out there. He got beat once or twice pretty bad, but overall he was solid. I liked Greg Van Roten going in at center, which I noticed that you could tell him and Josh weren't connected. Josh always felt like he was double. He'd get the snap and he'd have to fix his hands after he got it a couple times. So I was like, they don't got that center quarterback connection with their snaps like he does with Morris. So I was a little bit, worried about that. I was like, is that going to cause a fumble? Because the first snap he did kind of fumble it, but he caught it under center anyway. But yeah, I mean, Bates did a lot better than last week, and then Brown got bulldozed a couple times and had a holding penalty. But overall, like I said, for the most part, B-. A lot of room to grow, but still a very solid unit, and for the most part, kept Josh upright.
We had Aaron Donald last week. We had probably the second best interior defensive lineman in Jeffrey Simmons, and I'm looking at the stat sheet. He's not even on the stat sheet. Now he might have had a few pressures. I don't see that on this particular stat sheet, but
yeah, that'll come out. They don't put those on like the typical box scores.
Yeah. But
So
fantastic job. We talked about him. He's a beast, and we kept him quiet, pretty much like we did Aaron Donald last week. So fantastic job. Who disappointed you the most? I guess you said that Brown a little bit, but I felt, if you look at it, it's hard to complain. 41-7.
Yeah.
To me, there was probably 5 offensive plays where the line looked overpowered a little bit. They lost the matchup, but overall, take the rest of the snaps, dude, they were fantastic. They were giving Josh so much time. It was incredible, especially when we weren't even running the ball. So the Titans knew exactly what was coming. We're throwing the ball, and they were just providing fantastic protection. So I have no complaints. What would you grade them overall? Did you already say that?
Yeah, B-, just
B-,
because, like
okay.
you said, they did a fantastic job, but there was a lot of plays where I was just like, oh, man. Josh did get pressured a couple times. That one play that Dawkins got blown up by Bud Dupree bulldozed him right into Josh. So yeah. I mean, there was a few, and they would say the same thing. I'm not just picking on guys, but when they watch the film tomorrow, the coaches they're gonna say the same thing. Oh man, I wish I had that play back. Cromer's gonna be eating them alive on those bad plays, but there's a lot of good plays, and that's why a little bit disappointed in the overall. I thought they could have been an A today, but there was just a few plays where I was just like, dang, that could have been bad. That could have been a sack.
I'm going to give them a B. I mean, these are good players. The Tennessee Titans are no joke on defense. Yeah, they're missing Landry, but with Jeffrey Simmons, Bud Dupree, David Jones. I want to say hello to Chris Tebow out there in the channel. He says they should have let Josh throw 2 more. Yeah, he could have easily thrown 2 more.
But how nice is it to have your starters out before the third quarter is over?
I mean, man. I couldn't get the starters out soon enough. I was like, dude, why is Dawkins in there? You're like, we don't have anyone left to bring in. I'm like, put Gilliam over there. Put someone else over there to tackle.
Yeah, because they put Bobby Hart at left guard.
Yeah.
To get Saffold out. So him and Quisenberry were the only tackles left.
Yeah, I was just crossing my fingers that there were no more injuries, especially at that time, right? The game is pretty much over in the fourth quarter, and you're seeing starters out there, and just some freak accident could happen, and we couldn't afford it anymore. But, man, fantastic. I thought, like you said, you're B-, I'm a B. Talk to me about
That's a good score, though. That's a good score. Yeah. And like I said, we'll break it down more because – there he is.
Guys, ESPN has taken all my bandwidth from me. Holy smokes. That's never, ever happened before. I pay for, 1 gig internet, and this is the first ever time I've lost it. That's insane. I'm telling you, there's something. It is always during a primetime game for whatever reason. Like ESPN just freaking. It must be them because they are just hogging all the bandwidth right now. So I'm back. I'm sorry. Here we are.
It might be those 4 TVs in back of you.
No, not
sucking down
they
some
all
dough.
went dead too. I'm like, what the heck's going on back here? This is insane. So, anyways.
Well, welcome back. We just went through. We talked about Josh. We talked about the O-line. Sean gave him a B-. I gave him a B. But now that I think about it, Sean, I might say B- only because the run game wasn't there. And so I'm going to drop it to a B-. So that's where we are currently, Jake, with the O-line. Talk to us about the O-line and your grade for them tonight.
Yeah, I was very disappointed. I'll be honest with you. I think they did step it up, obviously, and they did enough, but I wasn't overly impressed by any means. I mean, as far as the interior goes, I was talking them up so much, and I think they just got absolutely manhandled at times. So, especially with a guy like Roger Saffold, coming off last week, I was really, encouraged by their performance across the board. But today, I didn't see a whole lot of that. They definitely, obviously everyone has their moments. I'm not going to write us off or anything like that. I still think we have a very good offensive line, very capable offensive line. Obviously was a little worried when Mitch Morse went down. I thought Greg Van Roten stepped in. He was getting blown up a little bit too. But yeah, I mean, even Deion Dawkins, we talked a little bit about that too. I mean, he got beat on the one play, and Spencer Brown, I thought he did okay. I know he got injured too. He was a little banged up. But yeah, I wasn't super impressed, and I really thought that was going to be a big win for us across the board, just with the entire offensive line today, and it just didn't happen for me. So, again, I mean, it's these are things that we can complain about after a 41-7 victory. It's pretty damn good. I mean, we're kind of nitpicking at this point, right? I mean, if we can go out and win 41-7 every game, I don't care if we play 10 times worse than this, we probably still win that game 20-7. So I mean.
Before you got on there, I mean, I was saying that, look, the Titans defense is damn good. You got Jeffrey Simmons, probably the second best interior defensive tackle, and we kept him quiet. I was looking at the stat sheet, not a stat. He might have had a pressure or two, which will show up later, but not one stat line. Mm-hmm. So that's a fantastic job. I was telling Sean, for me, there's about 5 plays that I looked at that said, okay, they beat us. They're good players. They're gonna win some, and so overall, I thought they did pretty well. But just thinking about it, the run game was off. Again, I think we went away when we decided to go away from the run, I felt it was a little too early. We should have tried a little bit more. And why is Singletary? I mean, he's the guy. He goes for it. He's making some runs, and then we decide to switch it up with Moss. I don't get it, but
we put a halt to it, and it kind of ruins momentum. Like it just puts a dagger in it. I can't understand that. That's I guess the only thing that I dislike as far as the play calling goes. That's the only thing I could really say. It also seems too like when we get some momentum throwing the football, like we have some big plays and then we just go and run the football. I know there's like a tempo, obviously you want to run some clock here and there, but it does. It like puts a halt to those drives. Like just keep going. If it's working, just keep doing it. I mean, Stephon Diggs was taking those guys to school. I mean, any corner you line up on them. I mean, we were talking about those young corners and how we could take advantage of them. We certainly did. So
Yeah, again, we're nitpicking 41-7.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Tennessee is no joke. I mean, this is the team that was the top seed last year. Now that they're without Harold Landry, they're without one of their top cornerbacks, and I thought they're going to bring it. So it's not like we're playing some joke of a defense. So they're going to win some. I thought our offense won most of it, and the scoreboard shows that. I mean, Josh had plenty of time to throw, even though we abandoned the run. So they knew we were throwing. He had time, man. They were giving him plenty of time. So a couple plays where we got beat, like you guys said. So let's go. Let's switch gears again. We already talked about the running back situation. Other than James Cook getting some garbage runs and getting you closer to our bet, I was a little upset with that.
I'll feel bad if I win because of that too.
Yeah,
I'll be honest with you.
For those on the channel, Jake and I have a little bet. It's like who's going to have more yards, Devin Singletary, and say total yards, Devin Singletary or James Cook. Obviously, Singletary is that main back, but James Cook, if he's going to get a lot of scraps at the end of games, I mean, I might be in trouble here.
You might see a lot of that.
What's that?
Did I tell you guys my bet take for the season with myself? That I said that Davis Mills will have a better stat line than Tua. So after week 1, Mills had the edge, but now 6 touchdowns and 0 touchdowns this week. Kind of down a little bit, but Tua threw 2 picks, and Davis Mills didn't throw any picks. So we're still It's still teetering. But that's just something I said myself, was that Mills, because Mills and Tua were the same last year. The worse O-line. Dolphins had better weapons. Now the Dolphins still have better weapons and a better O-line. But I still said, don't count out that kid Davis Mills. I do want to say something, two other things before we keep going. They were saying how, some people said the Titans were going to win because they beat the Bills last year. I forgot what show it was and what person said it, but that was his reasoning why the Bills were going to lose, was because the Titans beat us last year. And I was like, well, you didn't really back it up with any information and facts about the players or anything. But we can't stop Derrick Henry. The Bills get beat by the run all the time. Henry's going to run all over the Bills again. And he was 13 for 25. And also, last thing before we move on, they were talking up Waddle and Hill about their amazing games on Sunday. I want the same respect for Diggs on all the shows tomorrow, because he had basically an equivalent game, 12 catches for 148 and 3 touchdowns. So give credit to those two guys that they did outstanding, but this guy needs all that credit too tomorrow.
Amen to that, Sean.
So Ben's out there saying, Jake, the rumor has it you were sitting next to a stud at the game. Can you confirm?
I will confirm. Yeah, I was blessed enough to go with Ben Violanti, in place of his dad, who was my boss. So long story short, my boss had a golf tournament today, and that actually got delayed quite a bit. And unfortunately, it was like a company golf tournament that we were a sponsor for, our company. So he couldn't really skip it. And I know it was killing him inside not to be able to go to this game. So instead, I was able to take his ticket, and they have amazing seats. They sit right in the Kelly Club, row 1, Mike. I know you're a big row 1 guy, right on the 40-yard line. I mean, beautiful seats. I mean, just an unbelievable experience. So can't stress enough how incredible that experience is. Ben, thank you so much. Appreciate the hell out of you. And yeah, we had a hell of a time too. It was a great game to go to, and just love that I could share that moment with you, with Reggie Gilliam scoring that first touchdown too. That was awesome.
That's so cool. I know our previous giveaway winner Ryan was there, but you tried to find him, but he just you got there a little early. He wasn't there. So Ryan, hopefully we see you in one of these live chats and you tell us your experience. Hope you had a great time. So let us know. And let's see here. We got everyone out there in the chat there. So let's quickly, we already talked about him enough. I don't think we need to talk much more. We said Diggs went to town. He schooled. And we already talked about Kumaro. Anything else you want to talk about that wide receiver core before we move on to tight end? Let's talk about Knox. We had a Knox sighting this week as well. Yeah, he made a couple nice plays. Yeah. So any final words on the wide receiver group?
I guess just talking about Dawson Knox. I mean, that was awesome. He was tough, gritty today. I mean, he got some extra yards and playing against his hometown team. That was pretty cool. He's just from Nashville, so I think there's probably a little added motivation there. I know, players will say it doesn't really mean a whole lot to him, but that's got to be kind of cool, going against your home team like that and kind of taking them to town. And he had 4 catches for 41 yards. It could have been a lot higher, but he did what he had to do, and he found some openings. And you know what I do think really was awesome with our receivers today? Just the timing routes and the spacing routes. They did a really good job, especially Stephon Diggs. I thought he did an awesome job of just finding the opening, and Josh and him were just on all day. Isaiah McKenzie had a really nice 28-yard catch too, so shout out to him as well. Didn't really do a whole lot other than that. Jameson Crowder had a really nice catch. I thought Jameson Crowder definitely would have been more involved. I thought the middle of the field would definitely be a lot more open, which it was. I thought that it was very well open today. It just instead we targeted Stephon Diggs, and why not? I mean,
why not?
Yeah, absolutely. We saw what we could do. So, yeah, pretty good. And also at the time, we were also concerned about the weather and potentially there being rain. Let me say this. It was a perfect day, a perfect night for football. I mean, could not have asked for better conditions. And Sean, I tried texting you in the stadium, but it didn't go through on Instagram. Yeah, I saw you asked about how the weather was, but it was absolutely picture perfect. You couldn't get better conditions at all.
Love it.
It looked beautiful there at the stadium. The weather was fantastic, and I'm glad the rain held out. I see a lot of folks out there watching the show today. Please interact with us. We want to hear who are your likes? Who are your dislikes? I mean, it's hard to have a dislike, but just talk to us. Were you at the game tonight? Let us know. Were you tailgating? And Jake, you didn't get there early enough. Did you go over to the tailgaters at all or no?
Oh, we still tailgated.
Oh, okay.
We still tailgated. I mean, we walked through some of it. I just tailgated at my office today, but
Gotcha.
Still tailgated, had a great time. I mean, if you don't get there early enough, Mike, you just run into traffic. I know Ben, shout out to him again, he waited about an hour or so in traffic. He left his house at like 3:00. So, yeah, he was kind of sitting there out there in traffic. So, yeah, he makes a really good point, too, just talking about Ken Dorsey over Brian.
Two great comments back to back.
Yep. Absolutely. I love it. Bill, absolutely. Yeah, Jordan Phillips brings the energy. I mean, the guy's out there after every play just, getting the crowd into it. And I thought he played a really nice game today, too. Again, I mean, he is what a nice gem with Jordan Phillips.
This just proves that, before we let him go, 10.5 sacks, led the team, went to Arizona, got cut. Now he's back here and he's pressuring the quarterback, sacking the quarterback, stopping runs, filling his gaps. You can't let him go again this year. I think he's proven that he works with your defense and works with your scheme and your team, and he's a Buffalo Bill through and through. So, I mean, you got to sign him this year too. He's got a 1-year deal, right? So,
yeah,
he's a guy you got to bring back no matter what because he brings that juice, man.
Something to be said too. Yeah, guys like that. I mean, him, Shaq Lawson. Those guys love Buffalo. Like, they truly love it, and they're so genuine about it, and I think they just love the fan base in general, too. I'll tell you what, guys. I mean, I can't stress enough how into the game the fans were. I mean, they always are. Bills Mafia always shows out, but, like, today, gosh, I mean, it was unbelievable. It really was. Like, just to be there, that was just such a good atmosphere. It was incredible.
Oh, you'll think Mike probably heard it because he was probably watching the pregame, but – oh my gosh, it was kind of just crazy to me. They were showing Pinto around on television live.
Oh yeah,
the NFL show, and then all the pundits were like, "I don't get it. Why would he do that?" I'm like, "It's a tradition that it's been around forever. You don't even understand." And Mina Kimes was trying to say like, "Yeah, it's a tradition they do," and they're like, "I just don't get it. Why would he want to do that?" Like, shut up. Keep it moving.
That's right. He has a carton of milk from like 1991 in his Pinto now. Still, he keeps it in there.
Nobody fans like Bills Mafia. Nobody has wings in a Foot Locker or bowling ball shot or Pinto Ron. So you don't have to understand it, but we do. I just thought it was funny. Right. I was like, wow, you're disrespecting our tradition, saying, I don't understand. Why would he want to do that? Because he loves Buffalo Bills and he loves being crazy. That's what it's all about.
That's right. We're pretty simple folk. And another thing about Buffalonians, I mean, as much as we are into the game and we love our football, I mean, we know how to celebrate a victory as well. So, as I was leaving, Mike, I mean, I'll tell you what, it was close. It was a close call. I got home at about 11:45 and hopped on right away because traffic, there was still a ton of it. People were still out partying. I mean, people were just in the streets drinking beers. I mean, it was the greatest thing. And yeah, it's just going to be a party all night long. I do not expect much work to get done tomorrow with anyone.
Well, you mentioned, so it was a good segue into the defensive line. And yes, Jordan Phillips was smashing it just like last week. He was killing it. They talked about him on the broadcast as well. To have him and Ed Oliver, who we didn't have, and he filled in like Oliver, like it was nice to get Oliver the rest, but Phillips was just killing it as if he was doing his best version of Ed Oliver. I mean, I don't know how this guy didn't have success after he left Buffalo, but I'm glad he's back. And my God. And then let's talk about, we had no Tim Settle. Daquan Jones felt his name was a little quiet there. I didn't hear much of him, but they were stuffing Henry. Dude, can we talk about that for a second? What did Henry have? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
What do you have? Let's see here. Let's look at his rushing yards here. Are you kidding me? 13 carries for 25 yards.
Didn't even average 2 yards a carry, Mike.
Are you kidding? I mean, they were unbelievable. They were getting in the backfield. Sean, you said it. You got to get him early on our pregame show. You got to get to him early. Do not let him get to the second level because that's where it's trouble. I think he might have got to the second level once. Other than that, they were in the backfield tackling him. They were just stopping him at the line. Absolutely fantastic. So, We already talked about Jordan Phillips. Let me throw it to you, Sean. Who else you want to talk about on that defensive line?
Well, before I go into specifics, I'm just going to say them as a whole, because you mentioned how, Henry had the 13 for the 25. The reason why he's so deadly is because once he gets that hole, he can turn. He gets that 7-yard start. Because he's slow at first, and then once he gets to the line, then he can turn it on and then bulldoze the corner. But with the gap integrity that the defensive line had, he would just get stuffed at the line, and then he's got to stop his feet, and then he looks like a rock trying to grow legs and run. So that was the key with stopping Henry, is make sure he can't get his legs going. So yeah, Daquan Jones, I don't think he had even a tackle or anything, but he was filling his holes. And this defensive line, Greg Rousseau, Boogie Basham again making plays, Von Miller getting a few pressures. He didn't get a quarterback sack, but he stopped the run on a couple good plays. He's always a highlight to me. He's just, people say, oh, he's old and he's not going to be the same Von, but he's looking as young as ever. And, Von Rousseau had a nice sack. And yeah, this D line, it just goes to prove you can let a couple good guys take a rest if they need it, and then the next guy up is going to perform like you guys said. And I like the rotation, but I want all these guys in the field at the same time, because they're all just so good. You just want them to keep playing. But Epinesa, I thought he just quick, and he had a really good hit on Haskins on his first carry.
He did.
He popped so hard, and then he didn't even realize it at first. He drilled him, and he looks around and goes, okay. He's got a lot of juice in him too. But that defensive line gets an A++. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I said 4 sacks. They got 2, but in this kind of game, there was only 20. For the starters, 20 passing opportunities. You get 2 sacks. That's pretty good. And then a lot of 6. 2 picks, a lot of pressures, a pick 6. This defense is they're just humming. They don't have Trey. It's just gonna get even better. Imagine when you got Trey back in the lineup, if he's 100% healthy. That defense is gonna be scary good.
Yeah. So Von Miller, you mentioned it. Von Miller did have that tackle for loss, and he did. I've heard him referred to as Gumby. I don't know if you guys know who Gumby is. I'm dating myself.
Oh, yeah.
Do you ever? Right? He made that great pressure, and he hit Tannehill's arm on that one throw. So wonderful play. I mean, it was fantastic to see that. So and then Rousseau was dominating on that left side. He had that one offside, which was kind of crappy, but I mean, he had a fantastic game. He had a sack, and
couple TFLs.
Defensive line, A+, if that was such a thing. Jake, do you rate him anything other than an A+?
No, absolutely not. They were wreaking havoc all day, and it is the Von Miller effect, 100%. Although he didn't record a sack or anything like that, his presence is felt. And, man, I mean, he makes everyone so much better on that defense. I mean, Greg Rousseau came out of his shell today, too. I mean, that was just awesome to see. Jordan Phillips, again, we talked about him. I love the creativity, too. I totally agree with Ben. Yeah, he was playing D-tackle, and they actually had one of the other D-tackles playing on the edge there. It was pretty interesting to see, and I just love it. I mean, Boogie Basham was playing inside a little bit, too, and there's just so many things you can do with this defense. I mean, just a really, really good job across the board. And that's the one thing, too. So we let up a couple big plays across the middle, but our main focus was obviously stopping Derrick Henry. We didn't want him to game change like he did in the past. So, and we did it. I mean, we did an awesome job, but you sacrifice one thing for another pretty much. So we're okay, letting up those crossing patterns, across the middle. And they got a couple of, good first downs on their end, but we pretty much held them in check throughout the entire game. I'm okay with letting up a couple of plays like that here and there. I mean, they're professionals too, right? Treylon Burks had a couple of nice catches and
absolutely
got some extra yards. And yeah, I mean, I know Kyer Elam got caught, running across the field with them. And but yeah, I mean, you sacrifice one thing for the other. If we can hold Derrick Henry like we did, with every other back in the league, I mean, that's just man. It's unbelievable. I'm so happy. I have no other words. And Sean, how about them linebackers, man?
Well, let's go to those linebackers because Matt Milano killed it. But let me throw it to Sean to get his reaction on both Edmonds and Milano.
Well, Milano's just he's just a cannonball. I feel bad for Malik Willis. His first real lick was absolutely
wow.
And when they played it in like field view and the replay, he was running fast too, and it just boom right into the ground. I was like, oh,
it's amazing.
You could see his eyes when he got hit. He was just like, frig, I just got destroyed.
Yeah, right.
But, no, Milano did absolutely amazing. Did an outstanding game from him, and he usually does anyway. So I'm not surprised. But I mean, Edmonds had a nice sack, and when I saw him hit that hole when he made the sack on Tannehill, I was like, now if you do that when someone is running the ball,
right,
then you'll be a really good linebacker. The 4th and 1 at the goal line, for Henry, he was 5 yards in the end zone, waiting for Henry to get to him.
Yep,
21 yard away. Yep. You're supposed to be past the goal line, stopping the running back. We knew they were running the ball, and yeah, it was a false start. Shouldn't have been called. Should have been called back. But regardless, he was out of position. Didn't do well. The 9-yard run that Henry had, he waited for the block to take him on, and then try to shed the block after and try to grab him by his jersey with his arm. Like, you're supposed to blow up the block and then go after the running back and tackle, wrap up. You're not supposed to just wait for the block to take you on. So, I mean, he's such a hit or miss player. He makes great play, and then there's so many plays where I was just like, that's not how a middle linebacker is supposed to be, man. And I know it's it's not high school like I play. I know it's a grown man's game. I know it's I wouldn't want to tackle Derrick Henry, but you're getting paid. You're getting paid to do that. I'm not. So I need you. And he's bigger than him. He's bigger than Henry.
Yeah.
He's got inches on him and like 25, 30 pounds on him. So you shouldn't be afraid. You should be the first one to run in there and drill him. But yeah, Antonio, he did okay, but there was just his tendencies hold him back a lot. And it's all things that he could easily fix and be a top linebacker in the league. But the sack was good. He had a couple good tackles, but he
did tip that interception too, by the way.
Yeah, there was 3, 4, 5 plays where I was just texting Mike like, "Wow, this is sad." He did not look good on that play. And I mean, everyone has those plays, but I mean, year 5 now, you're playing on a contract year. You can't afford that. And what if it's Super Bowl? It's 4th and 1 at the goal line. And then Edmonds is standing in the end zone, holding the running back in his chest. Oh, nice Super Bowl win, good job. Like you can't be doing that. So yeah, he had a good game, but overall, he'll get a C for me.
He heard you yelling.
Wow.
He did hear you yelling, Sean, because after that play on that 4th and 1, he came up with a tackle for loss, had the big sack, had the deflection. And yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of eyes on Edmonds over the past few years. I mean, we've all talked about it, his tendency to not be able to fill the gap and be where he should. And again, how can you be in the end zone? I agree with you there, Sean. How can you be in the end zone when it's 4th and 1 at the 1? You need to be taking a gap and trying to make a play. Odds are you're not going to be able to stop it, but make a play. Don't sit there in the end zone waiting for him. But other than that, I mean, we're being a little harsh. After
you guys know I love Edmonds, and I think he could be
absolutely.
He could be a top 3 linebacker in the league. But that's why I'm so critical.
Yeah,
because we love this team, but we got to be honest. Like he's not going to be on this team much longer because the streets are talking. And they're saying that no matter if he's good or bad, he's gone. So we might want to make the most of this year. And I would like to have him. I think it'd be very dumb to get rid of him if we don't have anybody that's serviceable to take over for him. But he's got to show something for us, especially when, he led this team at 19 years old in tackles. I say this every time, 100 tackles every season, but he could have 150 tackles every season if he wasn't afraid to. Not that he's afraid. He'll snap me in half, but. I mean, when you're watching him, it's just like, I wish I had your body. I wish I could just be on the field again, just destroy people with your frame and your athleticism and your strength and your power, because he's got it all. He's probably the most physically gifted player on our team.
Yeah.
And, aside from Josh, but I just want to grab him by his jersey and just shake him and be like, come on, man. Like, look at how big you are. You're bigger than all these guys that you're going to tackle. No one in the NFL that you're going to tackle is bigger than you. Not one person is. Even A.J. Dillon's not bigger than him. You got to hit these guys hard, and you got to be the first one there. And yeah, like I said, C might be harsh, but my standard for Tremaine is above most players for this team because it's year 5 and people are still questioning. Like we're not questioning Josh, we're not questioning Motor. We know he's got we know he can play, but he has no opportunities. But Tremaine, like you're the leader of the squad. You got to be able to make these plays, not 4th and 1 and be like, oh mate, that's a guaranteed touchdown. Like if that was Ray Lewis. I'm not comparing him to Ray Lewis because there's only one Ray Lewis, but if it's a 4th and 1 and you were a Ravens fan back in Ray Lewis's day, you're thinking, okay, that's gonna be a stop.
That's a stuff.
Yeah, that's done for sure. But when it's 4th and 1 for us, you're like, okay, just give him the first down automatically. Unless some freak accident happens. But it's easy things to clean up for him, and that's the only thing I'm saying is it's just so simple. I'm surprised.
It's more fundamentals. It's more fundamentals than anything. It's not. He's in position to make the play. It's just finishing it. Yeah,
that's what shakes me the most. Is like, why are these coaches not like, hey man, like year 5, year 4, year 3 even, and you're arm tackling, taking on blocks instead of beating the block, and then you're letting the running back come to the hole before you are. You're running away from people trying to jump and tackle them. You're the fastest linebacker out there. You're the strongest. You're the toughest, and you're just not playing like it.
Yeah,
like, McKenzie plays big. Tremaine plays small sometimes, but
that's
all fundamental stuff. Like you said, Jake, it's got to be cleaned up because that's a real. He's a real gem, and it's a shame that he's not even at his full potential. That's what's crazy.
Yeah,
that's why I'm so frustrated with him. But
yeah, I mean, you're not the first to say that. I mean, I think. Was Ben the young gentleman that I met last year when I was at the game there? And I think he had some similar things to say about Edmonds last year as well. So you're not the first one, but in this ball game here, and I think what you're saying, Sean, too, we said this earlier in the season, with that defensive line in front of you, man, you should be even going to the next level.
That's exactly it.
Right. You should be going to the next level. And I'm not the X and O guy like you guys are watching it. I did try to focus on some of the things. I did see the one that Sean pointed out in the end zone, but otherwise, I don't know if I'd give him a C. I'm going to be the nice guy today, I guess. I'll give him the B. What are you giving him, Jake?
Yeah, I think he absolutely passed the eye test. He did a lot more good things than bad things. So definitely, yeah, you love seeing him getting a sack. He had that tip play that resulted in a Jordan Poyer interception, which was awesome. I thought he had the one TFL as well, I believe.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, he was definitely flying around the field. But, yeah, again, like Sean said, there were a couple opportunities where certainly, that's sort of what separates you. He's here, and he needs to be right here, and he's so close, and there's just a couple of things. And I think that's what really ticks Sean off and probably a lot of other people off because it's like we know that he has it. Like, he definitely does. But just you're so close, man. You're so freaking close.
Here's the weird thing. Oh, go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
I was going to say, what do you think you say? If we can get him on the show, would we?
Oh, he'd be pissed.
Well, I would tell him that I loved him first.
Yeah.
You know how? Go look in the mirror and then come back to the screen.
There's a reason we're sitting on this show now. We're not playing on the field,
But there wasn't many defensive stats for tackles or anything. The leading tackler had 4, and there was multiple people with 4, but Tremaine only had 2. So a middle linebacker should always be. I mean, unless
you're leading.
So the tight end McCreary had the 11 tackles, but that's because he got beat so many times that he made the tackle. But that's the only time a linebacker shouldn't be leading in tackles is if you have really bad corner getting smoked all the time. But your linebackers are the tackle guys. But of course, the defensive line did amazing swallowing up the gaps and creating negative plays. But our corners, Elam had 4 tackles. I think TJ had 4 tackles. Benford had 4. Benford played really good. I thought
they played really great in the run game. Yeah.
He had a good hit. That one play, Henry
forced the fumble.
It was a couple yard gain, and then him and Milano took on the fullback, and then I think the tight end tried taking Benford. Benford just rammed him into Henry and then shook it off and then tackled him for a loss. I was like, that's what I like to see. That's he's not afraid, and that's Edmund should watch that play on a loop like the whole night before he goes to sleep. Just look at that corner,
Yeah.
getting in there down and dirty. You know, and again, I'm just picking on Edmonds because I feel like I'm being a coach right now. Like I feel he's got all this potential, and that's kind of how I was when I was a sophomore. When I got switched to linebacker, my linebacker coach was kind of the same way, talking as me. Like, you have all this that you can do, just apply this and do that, A, B, C, D, and watch all this stuff unfold. And it did. So obviously, I'm not an NFL coach, and I never will be. But for me, I care about all these players, so I got to nitpick to get the best out of them, even though they're not going to listen to me. But
no other fan base treats their players like family like we do.
Yeah. Exactly right. I mean, Sean he's good, and Sean knows he can be one of the best, if not the best. He knows he has the potential, so he's pushing him. It's like a father pushing his child, right? We know I go to Jonah's soccer games, and I'm out there and I'm like, oh my God, Jonah, you should be dominating this game. And I talked to him afterwards, and it's just that love for that player. We know he can be the best. I did want to say, hey, Eric Cartman, I want to say hello to you. Eric's been out there putting a lot of comments on our shows. He and I had a discussion the other day on Facebook. Thanks for being out there, Eric. Jules Marie. We love Jules Marie. Hey. And if I had a better voice, I'd sing the whole song. But Jules Marie brings it with her comments. Love to see you out there, Jules. Thank you. And and Antonio says he thought Tremaine had a good game. So I think we talked a lot about Tremaine. Let's talk about the corners. Like we already said, we don't have to spend a lot of time. They did a fantastic job. I think the run support for both Elam and Benford was fantastic. We already talked about the injury to Dane Jackson, so we're all going to be anxious to hear how he's doing. Prayers are with him.
Praying for him.
Exactly. And so for me, they got beat a couple times across the middle on those crossing patterns, but you can't win every battle, Jake. You can't. And they thought they did a really great job, and I thought their run support was fantastic. Both of them made tackles, either at the line of scrimmage or in the backfield, which was amazing to see. So before we move on to the safeties, anything you want to finish up on the corners? Throw it to
I was super impressed. I mean, I think even in coverage, they both played pretty well for the most part. I mean, Christian Benford, did he get credited with a forced fumble too? I want to say he did on that one fumble that was recovered at the end of the game there, or maybe not.
I don't have that stat in front of me.
I don't know.
Okay, yeah. But, I think out of the two, actually, I definitely still think Christian Benford has the edge, and that's why he is technically the other starter. It's crazy that a 6th-round rookie is making this much of an impact, especially an FCS guy, a small school guy coming into the league and looking like a natural. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And Jordan Poyer was talking about it too, just saying that they both came in like just preparing like they were already veterans in the league. So I think a lot of that goes into the preparation that they put in each week, and they just do a really nice job. So it's just awesome to have guys like that. Again, Sean McDermott and Brandon Bean managed to find these guys, these diamonds in the rough, just late round, and Christian Benford, of course. I mean, why not, right? So they do such a good job developing corners. That's why I'm pretty confident with Kyrie Elam as well. I know people are very on him about being too aggressive at times, but man, I think he is starting to develop quite a bit as well. So it's just really good to see. And hey, once we get Trey White back too, I mean, it's going to be that cornerback crew is going to be unbelievable. So yeah, just awesome job. And also, we didn't really talk too much about, I don't know, do you guys talk about Matt Milano too much? Because that guy is,
can't say enough about him.
Player of the game. I mean, the shedding blocks from fullbacks. I bet the Titans missed Kari Blossom game. Got to give a shout out to him, their former fullback, now with the Bears, because that other fullback got absolutely blown up. You know? So Matt Milano, man, can't say enough about his play today. It was unbelievable. He almost had 2 picks, by the way. He had another potential interception on that second, the drive right after, pretty much. So, yeah, he was all over the field. I mean, shedding blocks, making TFLs, and making his name heard. So that was great to see. Von Miller called him the real 5'8". That's Von Miller's old number too. So that's a pretty big compliment from a guy like that. But yeah, so Matt Milano, definitely a candidate for player of the game. And then just talking about the corners across the board, I thought they played extremely well, did a great job in the run support. So great stuff.
Sean, any words on the corners?
The corners, they're making all of us feel good and comfortable, because most people here two rookies starting that corner like the Tennessee Titans had, you end up like getting carved up for 12 for 148 and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
But our rookies did a phenomenal job, and they're getting the game reps, and even Dane Jackson was playing really well, of course. And I was telling Mike I was almost in tears. I know it sounds stupid, caring that much about people that don't even know me, but seeing something like that, and I felt really terrible for Edmonds too, because obviously he didn't mean to.
Yeah,
and he shouldn't even have tried because the guy was already down. But I can't imagine how he was able to play the game after that, feeling like that was my fault. But so again, I just got to mention it again. Prayers for Dane, and the corners played outstanding, and you got to give them an A, man. I mean, at the very least, give up 117 passing yards. 2 rookies, and with the safeties also as well. We're going to talk about them, of course, but I think you got to give the corners an A.
Yeah, I'm right there with the A too. I mean, think about this. We were so worried coming into the season that we weren't going to have Trey. We knew Trey probably wouldn't be there for the first game, and as it turned out, he's not with us for the first 4 games. But these 2 young corners, and Kyrie's right there with them. I know Benford might have the edge, but not by much at all. And they're just playing unbelievable. We were talking about we need to get a veteran corner out there. I know I was saying that early on, but I mean, they've put me at so much ease how I've seen them play. But let's just say this, the Rams was a big test. The big test against a good running team was today. Next week, arguably, I mean,
blown coverage.
Two of the best wide receivers in the game going. And not only that, great tight end on their side as well. They're going to be put to the test. So we've been tested week after week. This will be their biggest test from a wide receiver crew. Yes, they had Cooper Kupp last week, and Cooper Kupp went off. But hey, Cooper Kupp was the only guy who did anything. But now you're talking about Waddle and Hill. So this will be a great test for him. But man, they've put me at so much ease. We still have Cam Lewis out there who could be activated at any time. I mean, he's great. He almost was a starter at some point for us. So my goodness, it's good to have depth. Let's roll into the safeties. Yes, Micah Hyde got dinged up. We don't know. It looked like he some type of concussion potentially. That's what it looked like when he was walking off the field. We saw that he took the hit to the head. We can only hope that he'll be fine and ready to go. I know the it's a short week, which is a little concerning. I'm not sure he'll be available for that Dolphin game. We sure hope he is. We're going to need him. But your thoughts on the safeties, and talk to me about, I don't know if one of you two know that concussion protocol, and being that we only have 6 days to get ready for the game. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's absolutely concerning. I think any time, of all times to not have injuries at the safety position, it's probably for this upcoming game against the Dolphins. Obviously having that support in the back is huge, but also, we have a front 4 that Tua has never played. The previous 2 games, the Pats and the Ravens do not have the same front 4 that we have. So, and that's multiple front 4s, by the way. We have so much depth there. So you got to be able to actually throw the ball deep too. So there's, the Ravens kind of let up. They let the foot off the gas. They had a lot of blown coverages, a total meltdown. So that at least makes me feel a little bit better. But yeah, talking about the safeties, I am definitely concerned about Micah. It's a very short week, as Mike said. Not a very short week, but short enough where it's only 6 days. I believe. Let me see if there's an update on the concussion protocol. I'm curious to see what the actual. Yeah, so it's. Let me see here. I just Googled it quick, but I'll tell you this: Jordan Poyer again. Just showing why he deserves to be paid. And they sort of asked him a roundabout question in his press conference too, as I was mentioned. I was listening to it on the way home. And he sort of avoided that. He said, "Hey man, I'm just here to win." And they sort of, kind of said, "Hey, does this sort of show why you should be paid as a Bill?" And he's like, "You know what? I'm just happy that we got that win." And he's answering all the right questions the right way. So that's a good thing. Yeah, he did. He had that TFL. He came off the edge. He had the interception, and he always finds a way to make plays. And it's always at great moments during the game too. So that is, his presence is just invaluable. And then Jaquan Johnson, he got in a little bit. Had to replace Micah Hyde. I think he's definitely capable of doing it, and he's almost like a he's a hybrid guy too. He's a he's definitely a starter on other teams. There's no doubt in my mind. So I do feel confident with him if he has to go instead of Micah Hyde. But yeah, I mean, you hate seeing an injury to a guy like that. So yeah.
Yeah, Antonio, you might be right. Yeah, Antonio says I thought it was a neck injury.
Yeah, it might have been a stiff neck or something.
Maybe something. You're right. Either way, I hope that again,
it's definitely above the shoulder.
Yeah, a neck injury can be very serious as well. So we'll have to wait and see what they say. I don't know if anyone's heard anything after the press conferences or anything like that. But if you have heard more on the channel, please let us know. As of right now, they didn't really say on the broadcast either. I didn't hear it, at least what they were saying his injury was. But let's hope he's back. And first and foremost, let's hope he's okay and hope he gets back to us as soon as possible. Your thoughts, Sean, on that safety situation?
Best tandem in the league. Yeah. That's all you got to say. They always play well. I can't remember a time they played terrible or even below average. I can't remember a time. So
yeah,
they always get an A+ for me. Those two. They
even in our worst games, like they always somehow still manage to be the only bright spot. Yeah,
they're always solid. And I'm not saying that the two rookies and Jaquan Johnson can't go to Miami and play a good zone because I know they can, but you want to go back into Hill and Waddle. They're just. I mean, I don't like Hill because of his off the field stuff, but I love Waddle as a player. Hill and Waddle are great football players. They're the two fastest people out there. And this is another important. I don't want to get ahead to Miami, but just to say, this is a game where you have to wrap up. You can't let these guys slip out of your fingers because then they're gone for 50, 60, 70, 80-yard touchdowns. So, these guys sometimes you got to step up and in a spot where you might not be expected to. So if Johnson has to go next week, I know you're confident in him and I am too, but it goes down to fundamentals. You can't let anything slip against a team like that. But we'll talk about them next week.
Yeah. Antonio has a nice report here. He says Thad Brown reported that Poyer texted Dane and Micah, and both said they'd be okay. So that's fantastic news. I do want to say that Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer probably owe that front seven a nice dinner. I mean, to not have Henry get into the second level, we saw what happened. We saw what happened last year. Yeah. If Henry gets to that second level and I don't care if you're a corner or a safety, I don't care how big of a safety you are, you're going to take a beating and it's going to hurt. And those guys, they'll put their body in front of anything. But they are very thankful tonight that number 22, they didn't see much of him getting to that next level. So I'm sure they're extremely happy about that.
Me too.
No doubt. Yeah.
That could lead to injury for them.
Yeah, right.
All right. Fantastic game. Just amazing. Let's go around real quick. Let's give out 2 game balls. You got to pick 2. I know it's hard to give the whole team. 2 game balls. Let's start with you, Sean. Who are you giving 2 game balls to?
I guess you got to say Diggs, right? But that's a too easy answer. So should we not say him?
No, I think one of us has to say Diggs. So who?
Well, maybe I'll let you guys say Diggs, and I'll just give one to Jake Kumaro because I was down on him for so long. And again, I'm not saying he's a top receiver. Obviously, nobody's saying that, but he went in and made a great couple plays, and he's a good blocker. So I feel better now knowing that if Gabe's out, he's still not ignore. People aren't just he's easily covered. He can make good plays. So I'll give one to him just because I think I owe him that much. And I'm a man of I'm a humble guy. I admit when I'm wrong. So he showed me I was wrong today. So I'll give one ball to him. And then can I say the defensive line as a whole?
Absolutely.
Give him a game ball because
absolutely.
It's just you could pick anyone from there, but it's just I love seeing and it's funny you mentioned how we have multiple front fours. Our backups could be starters on multiple teams. Like all 4 of those can be a starting defensive line on majority of these teams out there, I think. So it's just awesome to have a rotation. We don't have F.A. Obata as our rotated defensive tackle with Starr and Ed Oliver with only 3 tackles. We have a lot of people that can do that now. And, whenever one's resting, you're like, oh, that's fine. Let Vaughn get a playoff. And then let him rest up for the third down. I'll let Oliver take a couple of plays off and put Settle or Phillips in there with Daquan Jones, or put Boogie in there even, or even put Epinesa at tackle, or Rousseau. It's just it's so an underrated unit. Like I was watching Skip Bayless and Shannon talk about the game, the Bengals Cowboys game, and then Lyle Collins said, "Oh, that Cowboys front is the best one we're going to see," and I was like, "You played Buffalo Bills."
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
Micah Parsons is the best defensive player in the NFL probably, but that's all they got in that D line. We have 8 players that can get at you, and so that's how I say that it feels like we're severely underrated at the defensive line position. Like, people don't mention us when they mention Pittsburgh or the Rams. Not obviously not Bills fans, but pundits out there that all these NFL shows. We're not really mentioned that much as the defensive line team, but I think we got to earn that. We earn that respect, and I think we should be talked about more. So defensive line and Jay Kumaro, you got my game balls.
I think that will be changing about the defensive line. Look at Chris. Look, we have 53 game balls in the closet here. We can give them to everybody on the team if we want to. So, Chris is out there, Milano and Poyer, Allen and Diggs, McDermott and 4 turnovers. We got game balls for every. It's not a concern at all. If you want to give it to the whole damn team, let's go. Jake, I'll throw it to you. Try to narrow it down to 2 game balls. We know that everyone should get it, but if you only had to give 2, I know who one's going to be, but tell me who your 2 are.
Easy. I mean, my guy. How could I not? I mean, we're talking Reggie Gilliam, fullback, receiver, running back, tight end, tone setter. I mean, don't forget about the guy who set the tone for this game right off the get-go with that first touchdown. I mean, whoever won that $5,000, by the way, I mean, incredible bet. I should have done it myself. I mean, how could I not expect this guy to not score the first touchdown wearing his jersey to the game? I mean, how about Reggie Gilliam, man? Give him a round of applause. I'm going to do it myself.
Yes.
I'm super pumped. And he almost had another really good catch. Had he jumped like a second later, I think he jumped just like a touch too early on that one. But we'll forgive him for that one. But he's a Swiss Army knife, I mean, I love it. I love good fullback play. And when I see it, I got to call it out, Mike. So that's my guy. Obviously, Stephon Diggs is a clear-cut winner and probably should get the game ball. But if I'm picking someone other than him, it's definitely Reggie Gilliam. Defensively, I mean, Matt Milano. I mean, it was just he always shows up, and he definitely shows up in big moments. But tonight was special for him. Like, I think all facets of the game, run stopping, shedding blocks, being in the right place at the right time, helping the other guys on the defensive line and linebacker unit and all that stuff, like making them look better as much as he could. I think it's something that you can't coach and something that someone just has. He's a high motor guy. He got an interception, almost had another interception, was the second leading receiver for the Titans, as I mentioned early on. Man, just an awesome game from him. The Italian Stallion, how about it? I need to get a jersey for that guy as well.
Next week, I think.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? We didn't really talk about Taryn Johnson much either. Every single catch that was made, I mean, he was right there. He was right on the receiver every single time. So I thought he played a pretty nice game too. Yeah. So, just going with the corner thing. But, yes.
He was one of the leading tacklers. And Antonio says my game ball goes to Ken Dorsey, who he thinks called a great game. I
like it.
Totally agree, all of us. My game balls, I'm going to go. Obviously, we called Josh and said, look, no one here is going to give you a game ball. You okay with that? He said, yeah. I have enough game balls. I got enough money. Give it to the other guys. So that's why we're doing it. Obviously, Josh Allen should be one of those almost every game. But mine are going to go to those young corners. I'm going to give it to the 2 young corners. I still am so amazed at what they've been able to do. The run support today was top notch. And I'm just super happy that they have. I mean, I just cannot believe these rookies are playing at the level they are. I mean, it's like I don't even worry about them anymore. But I know I should, and I know they have a big test. So let's talk about that just a little bit. Because, Jake, you're going to the game next week. And I want to ask you guys, has anyone in the channel or any of you, I haven't, been to see the Dolphins in Miami play, see the Bills play them? Anyone of you been there? Because if you have, I have a question. So I've heard, I think it was my son who, I think he heard because his mom and his stepdad have tickets and they've gone to Miami. that the Dolphins fans are one of the ruder, and I know I'm going to offend somebody, one of the ruder fans out there.
Is
Like,
Troy still here? Where's Troy?
Where's Troy? I don't know. I don't know if Troy's been
it
there.
makes sense.
But I want to know if that's true. He says, look, they are not Raider level. Obviously, I put if you're ever going to pick, it's the Raider fans. But he's saying they weren't far behind. They weren't far behind them, and I was kind of surprised to hear that. Any of you guys ever? Because you're going there, Jake. So I'm a little concerned now for you. This is why I'm asking. So
you know what?
Well, there's gonna be more Bills fans there anyway, Mike. Is how it always is. So
yeah,
he'll be fine. He'll be well protected.
I'm not even worried a bit, Mike. I'll be honest with you. Maybe I'm talking with a lot of confidence right now because we're coming off that 41-7 win. But I can imagine when Josh gets off the plane and he walks down and just walks into that beautiful Miami sunshine, he probably just says to himself, "Daddy's home," because he's gonna be home, and he probably, he might have a Tua stat line on Sunday.
Well, so you're not
might
concerned.
Be a shootout actually, because Tua's the leader in passing yards and touchdowns right now. Well, tied with Josh for touchdowns, but Tua's the AFC runs through the Miami Dolphins right now.
It does. It actually does.
and the Giants too. The Giants run the NFC.
How about that? Isn't that something? The Giants are 2-0.
It's still funny to say. And my family, most of my family is Giants fans. My aunt was like, I remember, because I saw her yesterday for my son's birthday party. She was like, I remember when they were really good, but I don't want to watch them anymore because if they'll start losing. And then my cousin, someone posted on his timeline and said, "You've been pretty quiet for being 2-0." He goes, "I'm not moving a different way. I'm not looking at anything. I'm not typing anything. Because if I do anything differently, it's going to change everything. So I'm not going to say nothing."
That's right.
That's where the Giants fans are at right now. They're just like, I don't know what to think or what to believe. I mean, they're going against the Cowboys without Dak. So I'm not saying, because I like the Cowboys too, but the Giants have an opportunity to take advantage of a team that's got a lot of injuries, who's a very good team. But they could be 3-0. Who knows? I mean, I don't think anybody anticipated it, but
no.
I mean, like you guys know all about the culture thing. What happens when you get the right guy in there? Dayball, he may not have been he may near the end had a couple weird strings of let's run up the middle 45 times in a row, and didn't make much sense. But he's a player's coach. Everybody loves him, and just watching that first game where Saquon's like giving him a hug and like they're screaming in each other's faces, like going from Joe Judge, who's just like let's
disciplinarian.
Let's QB sneak on 3rd and 17 at our own 5. To going from that to Dayball, who coaches you. When Daniel Jones threw that crappy pick to Saquon, throwing at Saquon, he was at the bench. Dayball comes over there, starts letting him have it, not in a bad way, but as a coach.
Mm-hmm.
And then what does Daniel Jones do the next time they go out there and they win the game? And so Daniel Jones isn't the superstar, but he's doing enough and he's learning and to win the games. And I guess Feliciano truly is a missing piece, because if we played him in the playoff game, we would have won. And now he's playing for the Giants, and they won 2 games. So I always let him know on his posts, you're the missing piece.
Jake, where are you going to be sitting in, and how many are with you?
We got 10 people, Mike, and we are. Let me pull up the tickets quick. You know what actually is insane? So because we had 10 people, it's tough to find 10 tickets all together. So I actually called Hard Rock Stadium, and I talked with a Dolphins account manager, and he had to ask me multiple times. He said, "I just want you to know you are going to have to download the Miami Dolphins app on your phone. Are you okay with this?" And I'm like,
"Yeah, I'm a Dolphins fan."
Not really. But, well, he knew. I told him, I said, "Listen, man, we're coming down from Buffalo." He's like, "Oh, boy." He said, I'll alert all the Walmarts to shut down their supply of,
it's too late.
Folding tables and all
They're
that." I
already
said,
bought out.
It's over, man. But, I had to download the Dolphins app, so let me pull this up quick. I want to say he definitely hooked us up with some decent spots. I mean, we're not they're not like 50-yard line or anything like that. I think we're pretty high up still, but reasonably priced. It looks like, let's see, 328 row 23. So I don't know if you know where that is, Troy. He says he hasn't been to a game in Miami. Has he ever been to a Miami Dolphins game in general, or just not a Bills Miami
I don't think
game?
he's been to a Miami game.
Oh, wow. You got to get out there, Troy. Come on, man.
I know.
Yeah.
So
it'll be interesting.
All right. Well, that's good. I want you to be safe, and it's going to be fun to hear. You're going to give some sideline reporting. Maybe we can go to you live.
That'd be awesome.
Let's go down to the field with Jake right now, and we can get you live on the channel. That'd be fantastic.
That would be cool. That would be really cool.
StreamYard works very well with mobile devices, so Jake, we can get you out there. Just bring you live.
Yeah.
You know what I saw today? This is crazy. It showed up on my homepage on YouTube. Somebody was streaming the Bills game live. That's all they were doing. They had,
wow.
I think they had NFL Plus playing. I don't know how they were doing it, but that's all they were doing. And it was this gentleman who had like 158 subs, and I'm sure that grew over the course of the game. But he wasn't.
You got to check on that if that works.
I mean,
I wonder if he got slapped with copyright or something. I wonder if there's a rule.
But he wasn't even talking. Like, he wasn't even on screen. You know, sometimes the guys will be on the left lower screen or whatever talking about it. And maybe he did after it started, but I was like, this is crazy. All right, cool.
That is,
for those that can't see the game, which almost everyone would be able to see the game unless you didn't have any TV. But hey, great. Love it.
I figured it out.
That is cool. That's awesome.
What's that?
If I have to do, because I do Airbnbs often for cleaning, and Sunday is mainly always a checkout day for some people. So on the 25th, I have both of them, which usually takes me to about 3 or 4 o'clock. So I was like scrambling, like maybe I could do one of them the next day if nobody's coming in on the 25th for this one, and I could finish one by like 12:30ish and get home. But my aunt has a DVR, so if worse comes to worse, I'll turn my phone off at 1 o'clock. When I'm done, I'll drive back to my aunt's house, watch the game recorded, and then when the game's over, I'll turn my phone back on and then go from there, because I don't want to like have it on like play by play while I'm working, because I want to be able to actually sit like watching today. I was like this close to the TV, trying to see the like every little thing on the line and defensive line and offensive line. So I'll have to probably watch it when it's already over, so my phone will be off. But at least I figured it out, because I was really stressed out. I can't miss games. This is my pleasure.
That's a good move too, Sean, for turning your phone off, because I got an update today. Is the weirdest update I've ever gotten. It said Von Miller is wearing a baseball cap on the sideline, and it was the third quarter, meaning like he's done for the day pretty much. Yeah. And then I got another one saying the same thing about Josh Allen. I'm like, what the hell is this? What is this all about?
Yeah,
so good call.
People will text you. Like I get texts all the time, and I love to answer my friends and everything. But like I've recently decided like I'm going to try not to text as much, because the problem is with me, for some reason, whenever I'm watching the Bills, my TV is always behind. When I'm watching another team, my TV is always ahead of everyone else. So
that's wild
for some reason. So like my friends will text me and be like, "God damn it!" And I'm like, "A bad play's coming," and then
so
it's a pick or something. So I'm just gonna turn my phone off if I have to miss the actual game time, and then so I can actually get the full effect of the game and not people texting me, "Oh, how about them Dolphins?" or Tyreek Hill for a 99-yard touchdown, or or things like that. So at least I figured it out. I was like I was losing sleep over it, to be honest with you.
Well, now I'll know. If you're ignoring my messages to you, I'm like, where's Sean? He's always talking to me during these games. Now I'll know. And,
I was debating on muting your notifications too, Mike, when you were at the Rams game, because you were definitely going to get everything right away then and there, So, yeah.
Yeah, so that's cool. So I'm just thinking about this. How cool would it be? I think it could work. Let's say we went live. So, Sean, you won't want to watch our show on Sunday. But let's say I'm live, and I actually go to you. We break in every every 15 minutes, and we go to you live, Jake, and you're like showing us the stadium. I mean, it might be something to experiment.
That would be cool. Let's do it. I'm in.
You'll have to tell me what kind of reception you're getting on Wi-Fi out there at the stadium.
Well,
I just want to. Yeah, sir. Go ahead, Sean.
You can go live. You can do the play-by-play. You can sit. You can watch the TV. Well, they don't see it, and you could talk like, "All right, here we're kicking off," and then they get the ball to 25, and then here's the defense coming out, great play, and then I wouldn't do that just because I just like to scream and jump around and act like a 5-year-old kid in the candy store. But
Step aside John Murphy and Van Miller. Mike Thornton is in
Oh,
town.
that would be cool. I would just love it. Yeah,
you
let's
should
go.
try it sometime.
Maybe, that is a thing. I see people do it all the time. I mean, I see people watching the game, and then there's lots of people on their channel watching this game with them, and they're just chatting. So it seems like a lot of fun. But I don't know. I need to watch the game closely, and I don't know. One time, I don't know, Jake. Tell me what kind of reception you have out there. Maybe we'll do something.
I will.
We'll just go live for like 30, 40 minutes and try to get you live out there at the stadium with cool stuff. Listen, it's past 1 a.m. for you guys. It is 1:20 in the morning on the East Coast.
How can you sleep after a win like that?
I mean, my goodness, we still have some people in the channel, so thank you if you're on the East Coast for staying up so late. Even on the West Coast, I'm 10:20 here. I'm an old man. I'm getting a little tired here.
Hey, Mike, I just want you to know
we
passed the milestone. I think we hit 1K.
I seen it.
Oh, you did?
I was going to say something
Wow,
today.
good job.
Thank you to everyone. Nickel City Mafia has hit 1,000 subscribers. Oh my goodness. That feels like just a couple months ago we hit 500, and we just kept the foot on the gas. And thank you. It's because of all these folks. Look at these folks staying up till 1:20 in the morning on the East Coast. Are you kidding me? Thank you all. We greatly appreciate it.
You know what that means too, right?
What's that mean?
Now you can go live from your phone. So Jake can actually go live at the Dolphins game and be like, first down. Or
like YouTube Live. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
When I first started, I wasn't sure. I was like, can I just go live in my car after while I'm driving to work? And then my friend was like, you got to have 1,000 subs to go live from your phone. So I was like, oh, okay. So now you guys can do that. Like next time you go to a game, if you want to jump through a table live on the channel,
beautiful.
You can just do that.
Wow.
You know what I'm thinking, Jake? Maybe for halftime, maybe we try to go live, and then you join us at halftime just for give us a little experience of what's going out there at the Dolphin Stadium.
That would be cool. Yeah, I love it. Hey, thank you, Antonio. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Troy. Appreciate all you guys for joining us.
These are guys that have been with us since way back when. So greatly appreciate all of you.
I remember Antonio last year sent us pictures from. He was in Nashville for the Titans.
He was in Nashville for that game.
Well, we made up for the last 2 years tonight, I think. So
that's right.
Oh, we didn't talk about special teams.
Oh, Jake, if you don't, we'll get there. Jake, if you don't jump through a table live, I will be sincerely disappointed.
I'll find if there's a table, I'll find one. Don't you worry, Antonio. I'm going to do my best for you.
Special teams. Did you want to talk about that real quick, Sean?
Yeah, recovering. Almost recovering 2 fumbles, recovering 1. The other one slipped through Tywan Jones's legs at the last minute. I was like,
oh man.
But Bass is perfect, of course. Sam Martin's perfect as a punter. I love this guy already. Punts it exactly where it needs to go. He's got a little top turn to it in the corners. He puts a coffin corner punts. And, I did mention Mike today, the guy I'm most critical about on this team, Saran Neal, on a couple punt coverages. He got beat pretty bad. And then, the guy was able to get closer to Crowder. So it wasn't a great return, or it was a fair catch. And I was like, "Come on, Saran, you're the fastest dude out there." I thought you gotta smoke this guy. You gotta give Crowder a good spot. But overall, special teams they got to be a top unit in this league. I think when it comes down to power rankings, when it comes down, I think they're at least a top 5 unit because we got a lot of aces on that unit. And after those punts, Bass is always perfect. This is just a good solid unit. I give him an A+.
Yeah, I don't know about you two, but when the punter came out, again, I had to look up who the hell's our punter? I haven't seen this guy yet, other than holding for the kicks, and I can't read the name off his back when he's holding. So I'm like, oh, Sam Martin, okay. And
Slippery
Martin,
Sam.
He boomed one. So, and yeah, 2 of them muffed. One of the guys, I forget, was it their young rookie? He muffed one last week too.
Yeah, I feel bad for that guy. He's
Kyle Phillips. Yeah.
He's had a rough go, and he got. I forgot who I was telling, but he got hit so hard last week in the Giants game. He stood up and didn't know where he was. I was like, you got to get this guy out of the game. He's all beat up, and then his shoulder got hurt in that game, and then he muffed a punt, and then now he muffed another punt, and he's got to be completely shut down. Like his whole confidence is he's like, I shouldn't even play football anymore.
He's a
probably,
5th-round rookie, by the way. I mean, it's insane.
Yeah,
UCLA, right? He's probably beat.
Yeah.
Like your confidence is so fragile. I think as a rookie, if a lot is put on you, I think he's probably their number 3 receiver, and then you're returning punts too, and then so many things just going wrong for you. So hopefully he can bounce back. But I just feel for the kid,
I do too. Hey, Nicholas Swint, a shout out to you, sir. He's a Chargers fan.
Absolutely.
He joined
Welcome
the
in.
chat here. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for joining. I was pulling for you guys. I was really rooting for you the other day to beat the Chiefs. We really needed that to happen. And boy, Justin Herbert, so special. I really love that guy. I think he's got a lot of potential. And once you guys get Keenan Allen back, you'll be good to go. Don't worry about that. It was nice to see Mike Williams make some big plays too.
Yeah, my fantasy team was thanking him because he got me 2 points the week before and I lost. But I mean, I gained a lot of respect for Herbert in that game. But at the same time, I was like hating on Staley because I was like, you're down by 10 with a minute and a half left.
Yeah.
Like when you look at the odds of you getting a touchdown, getting an onside kick, and then tying or winning the game is so little compared to if you put your franchise out there again, you could puncture a lung, you could break a rib because his ribs were already, you could tell he was already.
It was nuts.
You could tell he was already done, and he was still
gutsy.
He was still gutsy and playing, and I love that for him. But as a coach, I was like, the odds of winning aren't worth. You might lose. You could lose him for weeks, and he might. I don't know what his status is like right now, but those rib injuries aren't, especially as a quarterback. That's not fun to play with. So
yeah,
I mean, I give a lot of credit for him. And I was a little bit mad at the coach. I was like, he's a precious jewel. You have to make sure he stays safe and lock away. You can't just you got shattered ribs. Let's put you back out there just to make the game closer.
Right.
I mean, they scored a touchdown, but I was just like, imagine if you put him back out there with, luckily it was a cartilage fracture, he says. That's not a big deal. It sounds like a big deal, but, I'm not a doctor, so I guess he's fine. But imagine if you put him back out there with a fractured cartilage and then, Chris Jones slams him to the ground and breaks 3 ribs. Then he's out for 5-6 weeks, and then your season's over, basically.
Right.
Because what's Chase Daniel going to do? But
listen, Chase Daniel was a beast at Missouri. I don't know if you guys remember back in the day, him and Jeremy Maclin, Chase Kaufman, they had a freaking run. But he's made so much money in the NFL as a backup quarterback. I mean, I think he's one of the better backups, but he ain't no Justin Herbert. You're absolutely right about that.
Yeah, I love Herbert. He's an amazing talent. Chargers are a great team, and I was just more frustrated of like you could hurt this. Like I started thinking about RG3. How Shanahan was just like, oh, you have a torn ACL? Oh, go ahead and play with a torn ACL. Oh, you tore it even more? That's fine. We're in the playoffs. They ruined RG3's career. So I was just kind of like, what are you doing, Staley?
I want to ask Nicholas, are you out here on the West Coast? Because I actually work in San Diego, and I got to go to a lot of Charger games while they were in San Diego. I've yet to be. I went to SoFi Stadium last week to see the Rams game and Bills. But are you out here? And if your dad's out here, I definitely want to meet this guy if he's been a long time Bills fan. So let me know if you're out here on the West Coast by chance. That'd be fantastic. Anyhow, we talked. I think we talked about the last show or whatever. We were looking at week 2 reactions. It's early, right? People overreact week 1. They overreact week 2. But going into the season, we said, the 3 teams in the AFC, at least for me, was the Bills, the Chargers, and the Chiefs. I thought they would be the top 3, and I still think they are the top 3.
I definitely think.
I think the Ravens are right there. The Ravens should have won that game yesterday. There's no way they should have lost that. And the Ravens maybe are the 4th. But we live in San Diego. Yes. You got to tell me. You got to tell me what it is. I've heard rumors that there was one, but I'm going to be there, so you got to tell me what it is. And is your dad there as well? So I'll be there. This is awesome. I love it.
I have some ties to the Chargers as well, Mike. Their GM, Tom Telesco, went to my high school, which is kind of cool. I mean, St. Francis High School. I know you're a South Buffalo guy, Mike, so you'd probably err more towards the Timon side of things. But
yes.
Anyways, we got 2 GMs that have worked in the NFL. Brian Dable as well also went to that high school. So it's pretty cool just seeing guys from, I mean, you would never expect it. Athol Springs, New York, right? The field actually is named after Bill Polian because his sons also went to school there. when Bill was here as the GM of the Bills. So it's kind of fun. But so Tom Telesco, their head coach Brandon Staley was the defensive coordinator at John Carroll back in 2016. So it's kind of cool. So I went to John Carroll my first year at college, then I transferred to the University of Buffalo. So I have some connections there. So I've always been rooting for Brandon Staley. I think he's awesome. And then of course Khalil Mack, University of Buffalo guy, and he's eating out there, man. Him and Joey Bosa, they are a tandem and a half. And I think he got a hell of a hidden gem in Drew Tranquil too. He is unbelievable.
Yeah, so I put my email out there, nickelcitymafia@gmail.com, not my email, but the channel's email. Please, Nicholas, tell me where that Bill's Backer Bar is. Put me in touch with you guys. Like I said, I work in San Diego. Would love to meet you guys for sure. We'll go out and maybe you can lead me to some place that has decent chicken wings because I can't find it. I've been out here many, many years and I cannot find a place. So maybe you guys have a little inside information. Frida, good to see you. Frida works with me.
Hey, I recognize that name. Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome. She was a little doubtful of all this Bill stuff, all this hype I've been talking about. I think she's now starting to see the light.
She's a believer now.
She's a believer. And Troy says he was at a Dolphins game in San Diego. So good stuff.
We also didn't mention your guys' amazing giveaway that I'm hopefully going to win this time.
Well, Sean, we were across. We were going with you. We didn't want to take up a lot of time talking about stuff. We want to make sure that you get your, talk about your channel. Why don't you talk about your channel? Everyone here who's helped us get the 1K, help this young man down here.
Yeah, go sub to Sean.
Go sub his channel. He does an amazing job, and he's been on so many of our shows. He's a huge reason too that we've gotten to where we are. So thank you, Sean. Go ahead and tell the folks about your show.
Oh, you're giving me too much credit. You guys did the 1K all by yourself, man. You guys run an awesome ship. I still remember. The funny thing too is I think I'm close to where I was when I first met Mike when he reached out to me. He's like, "Hey, we like what you do. You want to do some stuff together?" And I was like, "I'd love to collab." But it's honestly, we talk about it all the time. It's so hard to find people that just want to talk football. I can't tell you how many times I've reached out to other teams. Just get ghosted. Hey, man, or comment on their channel, on their video. Hey, I'm a Bills fan. I know you're a Texans fan or whatever. You want to go out and do a pregame or a postgame, or what do you want? You want to do a collab or something? Always ignored. But there was that my one friend TD from TD Fence Talk. He does collabs with me, and then you guys and my friends, Go Bills podcast. They always do stuff with me too, and that's what it's all about, man. But I do pre-games, post-games, and breaking news things as well. And us three are going to start doing film breakdowns, hopefully this week if everyone can. But we're going to be dissecting the previous game that we just played, and then we're going to even watch some film from the next opponent coming up. But yeah, I love what I do. I know it's who doesn't love talking Bills football, but it's a passion of mine, as well as these two here. But if you want to check my content out and if you enjoy what you see, like, share, and subscribe, and then we're going to be doing a lot of work together too. So keep in touch for that.
Absolutely. I always forget to say it. Jake, you got to start helping me, man. Tell the people, drop a nickel on that subscribe button.
I know. I got to get on it.
One thing is we love what we do here. We love talking. And when we created this channel, it was just about to meet new people, which we've met a lot of new people. I met Jake, I met Sean, met people in the channel. It's fantastic, and we want to keep it going. And we're able to grow the channel. We got some sponsors behind us a couple times, and whenever we get a sponsor, we want to give back. And that's we're about to send our second we had 2 seats for the Green Bay game. We had 2 seats. I hope Ryan sees this and he shares his experience at the game today. But that's what it's about. You helping us build the channel, us giving back to you, and we love it. So I want to say this about Mrs. Farida Gulam, Miss Farida Gulam. She still has the Chiefs over us, and it just I don't know how to get her over this, guys. I don't know. I think I'm just going to bring a jersey in and give it to her, and maybe that'll win her over.
I might have to.
I think she's got a crush on Patrick Mahomes. Unfortunately,
that's what it is. Well, he's taken Farida. So who's not actually married is Josh Allen. He does have a girlfriend, a longtime girlfriend, but there's still a chance.
We got Jules out there. Let me bring up Jules. I love Jules. Jules is one of our favorites. We brought a Bossy pizza to the hospital to watch the game with my
She's
gram,
great.
and she is so excited to see Jim Kelly. Yes, Jim Kelly. Both Bruce Smith was they showed him. He was there. Talking about some things that happened there in Buffalo, and then Jim Kelly kicked off the game with his little thing, and haven't been able to use her voice. So prayers to your grandma out there, Jules, and glad you could share that moment with her. It's fantastic.
That's amazing. I love that. And Bocce Pizza is some of the best pizza in Buffalo. I highly recommend that. Jules, did you guys do the original? There's 3 locations. There's one I know that's like close to UB South campus. There's another one that's there's a couple of them. I think there's another one that's out like towards Clarence or whatever too. But I think you can't go wrong with any of them. But I've only had the original, so good stuff. Stuff.
I like this comment here. What do you guys think?
Yeah. Oh, I've told Jake. Frida. I know Frida just asked me. She actually bought one of my Blue Yeti mics a couple of weeks ago, and she's like, "Can I use it for broadcasting or podcasting?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's what I used it for." So I don't know. She bought that, and now she's saying this comment here. Well, there's a spot for you. There's a spot for you here, Frida.
We're gonna put you on the spot. You're coming on next week.
Listen, if you start with that Chief stuff though, you're out.
Absolutely. Let's see. Nicholas says, I can't believe we're still talking to you guys. It's 1:30 in the morning for you guys.
It's amazing.
My goodness.
I'm usually up like 3 or 4 anyway, so.
Love to visit Buffalo for a Chargers game, so whatever that game may be, playoffs. Let's do a tailgating party, Chargers and Bills fans. Yeah, I would love that.
Nice. Yeah, that'd be fun.
I'm looking forward to when the Chargers do play the Bills out here. I'll try to make my way back to SoFi Stadium one more time, but yeah, good stuff there. And then see,
Nick said he has a Sean Merriman Bills jersey too, which is awesome. I mean, it was a very short stint for him. It was towards the end of his career, but Sean said he loved playing in Buffalo. He was unbelievable with the Chargers for those 3 years. I mean, they called him lights out, Mike. He was insane. He was so freaking good. But that's pretty cool, man. As a Chargers fan, to have a Bills jersey of him, pretty sweet stuff. So conflicting interest for you with your dad and that jersey.
And Frida says hint, hint. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to talk to her tomorrow.
You're coming on now.
I love it.
I always told Jake early on before we even met Sean, I said, Jake, I would love to just, put the pretty faces on the channel. You and not only a pretty face, but somebody who talks really well about the Bills. And I said, I just sit behind the camera and do the producing for you guys. And
no, Mike, listen, we need you just as much as anyone. I'm telling you right now.
I love your opinions too, Mike. Come on.
Also, you don't look a day over 40, so I don't know what you're talking about, Mike.
Well, I appreciate that very much.
It's hard to compete with Jake, who looks like Josh Allen over here.
I know. So you've seen it. Yeah. I'm telling you. We've said this many times.
The younger Josh Allen. Well, Josh is still younger than both of us, but
I got 3 years on Josh, man.
But when Josh first came in the league, when he grew up, it's still crazy to think, because I know men usually grow till they're like 26, but I feel like I stopped at like 18. But Josh, from when he was in the league to now, was just like, wow, he put on like 40 pounds, and like he just looks like a crazy man.
Yeah, I peaked at 18 for sure. There's no doubt.
Yeah, me too. So maybe that's why we're not pro athletes.
Yeah, what the heck, man? Got the short end of the stick there.
We did. But now we get to enjoy it.
Oh, Chris says he stopped at 15, and I got to ask you guys in the channel, since you're all staying up so late, I got to ask you, where are you all from? I know Farida's out here on the West Coast with me. Nicholas, you're out here on the West Coast. Where's everyone else? Chris, where are you at? And Antonio, I believe you're in Atlanta, Georgia, maybe? I think, if I remember correctly. And Jules, I'm pretty sure you're on the East Coast. I know you are. Jules has got I think he's either 9 or 10. He's got this nephew who's just so passionate about the Bills, sort of like you saw the video of my little guy, 10-year-old. And so it's great stuff. Yep, Antonio's out there in Atlanta. Where are you from, Chris? Where are you hanging out these days? East Coast, West Coast, Midwest? And then, like I said, who else do we got there? I know where Troy is. Troy's out here on the West Coast with me. Hopefully Troy can bring us. Troy now is tough to get. He did a show with me. Jake, one of the weeks it was one during the off season, one of the weekends you couldn't join us. So I did this show with Troy about are the Dolphins the biggest threat in the AFC East? Which it turns out they are. Well, that thing went mini viral for us. Like it was so funny. It was Father's Day. Actually, yeah, it was Father's Day. It was that Sunday. I went to church. We did the show on Saturday. I go to church on Sunday. Next thing I know, I'm seeing all these views come in, and that thing went nuts. It was crazy. We had people, Dolphins fans. So I posted that on the Reddit site, and the Dolphins fans were sharing it, and they were coming over to the channel, and it was so much fun. So now that he's had that, a little bit of success, he wants to be paid for his appearances, and I don't know what that's all about. And that's why, look, he changed his name to Troy Gregory Media now.
I love it.
I mean, it's hard to get this guy. I don't know if he'll join us next week. We'll see. He might be too big time for us now.
Yeah. So Chris has a good question here too, by the way, Mike. So he says he's going to 3 games this year in Buffalo.
Oh, let me bring that
and he wants to know where he tailgates with his wife. So Chris, that really depends. If you're looking for more of that party scene or like the Pinto Ron tailgate, which I highly recommend. It's a really cool experience. They squirt the ketchup and mustard on them at 11:30 before every game, every home game. It's so cool.
They showed that tonight on TV.
I got to go back and watch that. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I wasn't there actually for it, so I have been there for a few of them, and it's just an awesome experience. Everyone gathers around on this big hill. It's right in the Hammer lot, so it's right near Highmark Stadium, pretty close by. But that is probably my one recommendation for sure for one of those games is to do that because it's just a really cool experience, and like even other teams' fans are there and everything, and everyone sort of gathers around, and it happens right at 11:30. So make sure you're there a little bit earlier because they start lining up, and it's a big ordeal now. I mean, they do a bowling ball shot, and it's such a cool experience. Otherwise, I've gone to a couple of different places. My office, we do a little tailgate there. It's a little more low key, more so on the adult friendly side, just sort of hanging out, having a couple of drinks, not jumping off tables or anything like that. We're right by Kettles. I don't know if you know where that is. It's on Abbott Road. So the other side of Abbott. And then I've also tailgated at the Twin Oaks lot, which is near Louis, right? Like kind of like next to, there's O'Neill's, then there's Louis, and then there's the Twin Oaks lot. So a lot of good places. You really can't go wrong anywhere, to be honest, but those are my suggestions.
Yeah, just reach out to Jake if you can't remember what he went through. I know it's early morning for you, but he'll be glad to share all the good spots. And like I said, he's very close to the stadium. My goodness, I had the luxury of going to a Dolphins game last year and parking at his place, and we were 5 minutes away, and we got to meet all the crew there, and it was fantastic. So he's a good guy. He'll hook you up somewhere, let you know where all the spots are.
Definitely.
Sean, when's the last time you gotten down to the stadium to see a game? You got any plans this year?
I went last year to the Texans game. Right now, if I go to a game, I want to get a great seat. So last year we sat in, what was it? The 100 level, like row 11. So we were in a beautiful spot.
That's awesome.
It was $130 each ticket. That same seat now is over $450, $500, every game. So, if it's like that, I probably won't. But as of right now, the Dolphins game in December is like $375, $400. So maybe it'll go down a little bit, or I'll have to wait till we play a worse team. Because I think maybe the reason why it was so cheap last year was because we played the Texans. So, or maybe it's just different now with the stadium going up. In the future they're making the prices all higher and taxing everybody. So maybe that's why. But I'm hoping to get to one. I want to do one a year at least. So we'll see. But I'm hoping
maybe I'll win one of the giveaways. But you bring up a good point. They have made ticket prices just outrageous these days, and they're kind of pricing families out of it, and it's a shame to me. I mean, these people that are reselling tickets, SeatGeek, Ticketmaster, charging you $100 service fee for something that's fully digital, automatic. You're going to charge me $100. It's just crazy. I wish the NFL could do something. I feel they could.
Just to regulate it or something.
Just to regulate it a little bit. Yeah. I mean, come on. These people, as soon as the tickets come out, people are out there just buying all the tickets and then relisting them for 3 times the price is absolutely ridiculous.
It's wrong.
I will say that what I learned going to the Rams game, we had to lock it in because my son was coming out from Buffalo. If you are able to wait closer to the game, those tickets do start to come down. But most people got to make plans, and it's hard to wait that long and then buy a ticket. But they do come down about the week before the game. We were starting to see better seats where we are, although I loved our seats, but they were a little bit better and they were a little bit lower price. So that's my one lesson I learned. But still, it's ridiculous. Something's got to be done.
For me, like my rules for driving to Buffalo would be I want to go to a game in September or October because I live 3.5 hours away. So I'm not driving 3.5 hours, getting stuck in a snowstorm.
Yeah.
And then trying to drive home in that or having to try to make it to Jake's house and stay with his family and bother his family. So
we'd love to have you, man. Man cave's open.
Yeah, I mean, it could be possible because I might have to go down there in the winter, but I mean, I hate driving anyway, and then I'm a good driver. I just don't like it. So when you add the winter into that too, and trying to leave the game after takes probably 5 or 6 hours to get home in a snowstorm. So I would have to watch the weather report and then buy a ticket the last minute. So I don't know.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man.
I'm hoping it'd be cool to see the Dolphins game because we would smoke them at home and then make it 9 wins in a row.
Oh, that'd be 9 in a row. I like that. I love it.
Yeah. So my friend actually today, oh, sorry, you want to go ahead.
No, I was just going to comment on what Nick said there. He was saying that MetLife Stadium is one to definitely take over. Yeah, I got a lot of buddies that are actually going to that Jets game, that away game against the Jets.
Yeah.
So that actually, Sean, probably not too bad for you either.
Yeah, because I think because Jersey's the same distance. It's like, well, depending on where it is. The place we went for my wife's competition was 3 hours and 40 minutes. So
okay,
it's kind of similar. So that's a possibility too. And a lot of Bills fans will go to that. So that's a good point. Thanks for that.
Definitely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I was saying my friend was asking me on the phone after the game, are you nervous about next week? And I said, the only thing I'm really nervous about is like we had the seven win streak. It's not like when Brady beat us 35 times out of 38 when we were a bad team. The Dolphins are a good team. And when you got that pressure of 7-1, 7 wins in a row, you got their number. You don't want to have a bad day and then lose that streak. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's what like Rodgers and the Bears. The Bears were terrible when Rodgers, was good. The Bills were terrible when Brady was really good. So now we don't have that same luxury of the Dolphins being a really crappy team and we can beat them 35 times out of 38. But that's the only thing I'm nervous about. You don't want to break that streak.
I hear you.
They're a good team, so I mean, it's going to be. I think it's going to be a good game. I just don't see Tua doing what he did against the Ravens to us because we're a very defensive sound team. The Ravens got a new defensive coordinator. Their players were all looking at each other like, "What are you doing? Why'd you? Who's got him? Who's got?" We don't do that. We don't make those mistakes. So, I think it'll be a very good game. I mean, I'm not going to say I see a blowout, but I think it's going to be a good. I think we're going to come on top. It's going to be a close game.
One of my best memories as a Bills fan, Jake knows this, maybe I've told you, I was there in 1980 at what was known as Rich Stadium at the time when the Bills broke the 20-game losing streak to the Dolphins. So I have no pity. It was Bob Greasy against Joe Ferguson. Don Strock even came in that game. We had Joe Cribbs. It was an incredible game. I was there to see them tear down the goalpost. It was amazing. I was there with my grandfather. So we lost to them 20 straight games, guys, 10 years in a row. So I have no pity on them. We're going to start our own. We got, 7 in a row, you said? We should have had 8. We almost won that one. I think that was Josh's first game against them. Yeah. But now we're going to roll. It's our turn. Let's go on our own.
I was just saying, it just stinks now that they're a good team. Now it's actually got to be like a difficult challenge.
I know.
But man, I mean, honestly, this it's funny when you think about it. The AFC East is known for their collectively known for defense. when you really think about it. Like that's the strong suit of each team. I mean, we got the offense too, but the Jets are a defensive team. The Patriots are better on defense than they are offense. The Dolphins are a great defensive team. We're the best defensive team. You got two teams that got good offenses, but the AFC East has got a good. That's their knack, the defense.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a tough. I think the Jets. You can't even take the Jets lightly anymore because as a fan because the way they got a day ball in their system. They got Robert Saleh, who everyone loves to play for, who's running stairs before each game, and
I love it.
He's a guy that people want to play for. So when you're losing 30-17 with 2 minutes left, they still want to play and fight for the win. Not like when they had I forgot his name. He was so bad.
Adam Gase.
Yeah. If it was 30-17 with Adam Gase, they'd be like, all right, let's go home. I'm hungry.
Yeah, that was rough, man. Rough time for them for sure.
So we gotta this division's gonna start turning up. And the NFC East isn't the worst division anymore. It's the AFC South.
Yeah, how about that? How about the Colts, man? You want to talk surprising teams? That is another. That was one of my teams, Sean. You had the Broncos. I had the Colts as a potential, wild card team to look out for, and here they are. I mean, they should technically be. I mean, they should be 1-1. I guess they don't miss that field goal with Hot Rod, but they looked awful yesterday. I mean, Matt Ryan just looks out of sync. Now, granted, he had all of his receivers out, but man, AFC South should be a walk through the park. I don't think it hurts the Titans to go 0-2. They can very well win that division still. So, yeah.
That's the thing. Like when you hear 0-2, it's like, oh, that's probably going to be hard for a team.
In our division, it hurts. Yeah.
Yeah. But when, you got the Jags are 1-1 in first place.
Yeah.
And you got 0-2. You got 0-1-1, 0-1-1. So, I mean, even the Titans got a chance to still win a division.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. You were saying yesterday that was they're probably one team that could afford to go 0-2. Because I was saying like they're going to come in. I mean, going down 0-2 is such a big deal in the AFC, and you said that's probably one division that could afford it. But well, listen, guys, it's been long. I have to play father figure here.
I hear you.
I have to send you two to bed. It's bedtime, boys. It is almost 2 a.m. for you folks. And anyone out on the East Coast, it's also very late for you. So I appreciate you sticking around with us. We will schedule our show this week. We're going to have, like Sean said, we're going to try to do some breakdown film on both our game today or yesterday. Well, no, today for me. And we'll break down the upcoming team, the Dolphins. And if we don't have time, we'll see. We all have full-time jobs. It's hard to get together. We're going to try that sometime this week. But no matter what, we will have our pregame shows. Both of us, Sean will be bringing you his pregame show. Jake and I will be bringing our pregame show. Jake, when do you leave? When do you leave for Miami?
So I leave Friday. So we may have to talk about doing this pregame show a little early.
Yeah,
Nick,
yeah.
I will hit you up, brother. I got your text or I got your thing here. So I'll definitely get your number so we can text back and forth. I'll let you know all about the good tailgate spots. And, excited to converse with you more. Awesome stuff.
Yeah, Troy, I'll hit you up afterwards, tell you what section I was at. I was in the end zone, level 4. So I think it was like 426 or something. Row 1, though. And it was fantastic. And
that's the way to go.
They go as high as 5. So it was 4, but it felt very low because we were in row 1. So it was great. But I'll hit you up about that. So good stuff, everyone. All you East Coasters, get to bed. Get to bed. You all have an early morning.
How can you sleep after this win? I think I'm ready to go out and party again.
Know,
the bars stay open till 4 a.m. in Buffalo, just so you know.
Do they really?
So, they do.
Holy
yeah.
cow.
We don't mess around here.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody out there in the channel, for hanging out with us. And as you can see, we could talk forever. But, I have to be the father figure here and send these boys to bed. So good night, everyone. You too. Thank you so much, Sean. Always
Thank
great.
you.
Appreciate you. It was fun talking back and forth the whole game.
Oh,
and
yeah, I love it.
Jake, looking forward to this week. And I'm serious. I'm going to see if we can figure out something at halftime for you to join us live. We're going to figure this one out.
I'm in.
Everyone else, take care. Nicholas, hit me up. I want to know where that Bills Backer bar is, and I would love to meet you and your dad. So we'll talk soon, guys. Take care.
All right, guys. Hey,
Go Bills.
Go Bills.